folks, Jim Leila here for episode 205 of Geeking Out Weekly. We are here with our various comic book reviews and a very special spoiler-filled review of The Dark Knight Rises.
Yes. So, like, after our reviews, if you haven't seen the Batman movie...
If you do not want to be spoiled, do not watch this review.
Yes. Full of spoilers.
Oh, yeah. And, well, you people are probably going to be pissed at us, but guess what? We don't care. Anyway, let's get to some comic book reviews. You start off with X-Treme X-Men.
Alright, yes. X-Treme X-Men #1 came out this week. And in this one, a team of cross-dimensional X-Men. In this case, Captain James Howlett, who's Wolverine, Emmeline Frost Summers, Kurt Wagner, and 100 severed Charles Xavier heads. That's right. That's right.
Okay.
Teleport an entire population of an exploding planet to their new home. But something goes wrong. And meanwhile, Dazzler is summoned to Utopia to help power the rebuilt Ghost Box.
The most useless superhero ever.
You know what? I didn't like Dazzler until this book. But anyways. So they have rebuilt the Ghost Box that teleported Cyclops back from an alternate dimension. I don't know why they want to rebuild that. But anyways, once activated, the cross-dimensional X-Men are sort of sucked here and reveal that they have caused a huge problem. Surprise.
This book sounds like a huge problem.
Yes. Then Dazzler is sucked back through that portal with them, so they show up, and then they all go back.
Hopefully she took Disco with her.
Yes, so Dazzler goes back with them through the portal and joins the cross-dimensional X-Men on their quest to put things right. Alright, so this was weird.
No! Judging by the synopsis.
But it was kind of enjoyable. Like I said, I didn't really care for Dazzler. Like, kind of a lame superhero, really, right?
Oh, yeah.
It
roller skates.
Changing sound to energy and light and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. But it was interesting. They've sort of brought her a little bit forward for me, and I actually found her enjoyable and interesting, which was really weird and unexpected. So, you know, this book really does center around, at least this issue, around Dazzler. It's a big part of it. And then we're going to get to the whole team later on, obviously, and there's going to be a whole bunch of, like, multi-universes and alternate dimensions and all of that. So, you know, if you like that kind of thing, you're probably going to like X-Treme X-Men. For me, it was, you know, hilarious. I don't know how much, you know, further reading I'll want to do, but, you know, this one was worth worth the read. I enjoyed it.
Alright, next up we have Auntie, and this one is from Gail Ann Hurd, who is a producer on Terminator, Aliens, and The Walking Dead.
Yes.
Now, what she really had to do with this, I have no clue, but apparently she had something to do with it.
Producer.
So. Anyway, the story is about Jordan, who is a demon hunter and is very good at her job. She chases after demons disguised as humans, and one such demon she meets is Zachary, a man who is unaware of his powers or heritage. And now, Jordan and Zachary must escape the demons that are hunting them down.
See, we like the Free Comic Book Day preview.
We did. This one doesn't really expand too much on that, though.
No.
My main problem is the story. It just kind of paces itself very slowly. So, I mean, I can appreciate a good slow story every now and then.
A build up, yeah.
But this goes a bit too slow.
Yeah.
You don't really get to learn about these characters. They're just kind of thrust upon you. So, it has that. But,
More backstory later, maybe.
More backstory later, I'm sure. But for a first issue, this one goes a little too slow, and there's not enough really here to make you like the characters, and that's kind of a sad thing.
Yeah, need something to grab you.
Yeah.
Read number 2.
And it doesn't really grab me here.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the art by Daniel Hilliard here, but the story was kind of lacking. And when you're trying to get with characters that are supposed to be make you care about them, it just really kind of makes this book flop a bit.
Gotcha.
And that's kind of sad because I was kind of looking forward to it.
Yeah.
But overall, it's an okay book. It's just not a must-buy. But for $1,
why not try it out?
Why not try it out?
Next up, we've got Star Wars Darth Maul Death Sentence #1. So, the galaxy believed that Obi-Wan killed him, but Darth Maul lived. That's right. He was rescued by... Yeah. He was rescued by his brother Savage Opress and taken to his homeworld to be fitted with cybernetic legs. That's right. And now the brothers are carving a trail of mayhem across the Outer Rim, and their activities have attracted
George
some attention.
Lucas, you just gotta ruin everything, don't you?
I don't think it had anything to do with this book. Just saying. So now the brothers have a bounty put on their head by the head of a large mining company in the galaxy called Jaboag.
Gee, I wonder who could run that.
Yeah, why, it's never really explained why they have a bounty on their heads, but anyway, so the Jedi Council has also sent representatives to question him as to why, put a bounty on this person who they thought was dead, so they're also investigating that as well. So when they seek an audience with him, they're not the only ones there to question him. So I did like this. I mean, it's kind of crazy to think Darth Maul would survive that, but I mean, this carries on from the Clone Wars story.
So if you're a fan of that cartoon series, then check this one out.
Yeah, you're probably going to like this. I really love the character. I love Darth Maul as a character, and I always thought that it was kind of a shame that they sort of killed him so early.
Yeah,
you let Jar Jar survive and you kill Darth Maul.
Yeah,
it makes no sense. But anyway.
But Jar Jar started the whole war, so...
I know, right? So, it's cool to read about him here. If you're a fan of the character, if you're a fan of Star Wars, you're probably going to like this one. You just have to, get past that part where he was cut in half. He should have died, right? Yeah. You just have to get past that part.
Let me guess, the lightsaber cauterized his wound.
They never really explained it, but that's what I just sort of instinctively thought, that must be it. That must be it.
Other than having his lower half taken out.
Yeah, exactly. So, but now he's apparently more menacing with, the cybernetic legs and all that. So it's kind of cool. It's sort of like mixing together General Grievous and Darth Maul into one character.
Grievous Maul.
Grievous Maul.
Next up, we have Debris #1. And in this one, in the far future, humanity has doomed the planet to rot and decay, causing ancient spirits called the Colossals to rise and attack the survivors. Maya, a warrior, sets out to find pure water to save the world before the Colossals end it.
Huh.
Okay. This book sounds very familiar to me.
Yeah, a couple of movies came to mind.
Yeah. So there is no originality here. The art is simply beautiful, though.
Yes.
I will give it that. This is a beautiful book to look at. The story is okay, but I can't really get a feel for these characters because, once again, they're thrust upon you without telling much about them.
I think that's like a big storytelling trend, though. Like, you start in a certain place and then you have to build backwards and forwards at the same time. I don't know. I
always like getting to know characters over the length of the story, but when you don't get to learn too much about them, it just kind of messes it up a bit for me. But I still enjoy this book. It's a lot of fun. The art is simply beautiful. It's just something we've heard many times before.
Well, the end of the world things or great cataclysm things. Yeah. There's always a different way to do it. I assume that maybe it would surprise you in the next issue. Maybe.
Now this, it really reminded me of was that Final Fantasy movie from way back.
Really?
The Spirits Within.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because spirits inhabited machines and everything.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, and you're using Earth's water and everything, and they have to get it to stop the spirits. And it's like, okay, well, that's pretty much Final Fantasy The Spirits Within there, story-wise. So
perhaps if you're a fan of that, maybe this.
Maybe if you're a fan of that, but I know many people are not. But personally, it's not bad. It's just not very original. So at least pick it up for the art, which is absolutely beautiful. But as long as the story gets a little bit better as this goes on, I will recommend it. Just check it out, give it a try. I can't highly recommend it, but I do recommend it at least for the art, which is absolutely gorgeous.
Okay, so next up we've got National Comics Eternity. Now this is a one-shot that's like sort of a new take on Kid Eternity. So in this one, Christopher Freeman is a medical examiner in New York City who almost a year ago died.
Hooray! Wait, no.
No. Then he comes back, but now he can sort of talk to the dead. I'm not going to go exactly into how, but in this issue...
Gee, that sounds familiar too!
Yes. In this issue, he tries to solve the murder of Darby Quinn and gets much more than he bargained for, both from the past of the victim and as well, like, you know, the perpetrator. It's very interesting. And also, someone is watching him and in the end gives him a very stern warning about what he's been doing. I actually thought this was a really cool take on Kid Eternity. I liked it. A great story by Jeff Lemire. Like, unbelievable.
Well, Lemire is a really fantastic writer, especially when he's given a
solid character.
Yeah.
Which this is a solid character. It is really cool. If you like a supernatural crime story kind of feel, this is very much that. And this had like a really shocking ending, like an interesting twist on the whole thing. Like that whole getting justice for the victims thing is all sort of turned on its head, and he's warned, like, you know, maybe not every victim sort of deserves justice in this way. It doesn't deserve your help. So it was very interesting. And it's a shame that it's only like a one-shot, but, you know, I thought that this was really
maybe
cool.
sometime down the road we'll get something new.
Maybe. National Comics is doing like a bunch of these like little one-shots. I think there's another one coming for like Rose and Thorn. So who knows if this is something that DC's like, you know, trying out the waters for bringing in certain characters. I don't know. This was an interesting read for me, though, and if you're a fan of the Kid Eternity stuff from before, then I think that you're really going to like this one. Give it a shot.
All right, next up, we have Irresistible, #1 from Zenescope. And in this one, Alan Keeg is your average heartbroken sap. But after saving an old woman from being mugged, he is given the amazing supernatural ability to be irresistible to people of the opposite sex.
Nice.
Oh.
It's like what women
Zenescope
want.
again. Zenescope.
No.
Problem with this book is it is a male chauvinist pig book to the extreme.
Yeah, the superhero ability kind of says that to you right there.
Yeah.
But, you know.
But it's not terrible. The art's okay. It's just with the story, you cannot care about this character at all. And I hate...
Well, does he abuse his superpower? Is that why?
Not yet.
Not yet, okay.
But he's like, I gotta try that again. It's like, so great. Yeah, you're gonna be an evil guy who's having sex with women everywhere. It's like, just the pain that the story brings to my brain.
How about the art? Zenescope usually has...
As I said, the art is great, but as always, Raven Gregory's story is where this suffers.
Yeah.
And when you have characters that are just so sickening, ethically sickening.
But maybe you're going to start there and go somewhere interesting with it.
I would hope so, but knowing the writing style of Raven Gregory, I don't know. Yeah. And honestly, this really, really is subpar. And
it's a shame, because Zenescope has like a great stable of artists. It just can't seem to get like
the great writers
that really
to go
great
with
writer
it.
To go with it.
The last really great book from Zenescope I read was The Fly.
Yeah.
And this book really suffers, and I cannot support any book that is so chauvinistic and demeaning towards women like this. This really sickens me. This sickens me to no end.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know why anyone would pick this book up.
The cover's enticing, I guess.
Of course the cover is enticing, because
that's the point.
Guess who the male is the main audience? The male chauvinist.
Yes. Well, so they know their audience.
Yeah, they know their audience, and that's okay, but quite honestly, I did not like this book, and I cannot recommend it at all. So, don't buy it. Just burn it.
Next up for me, Deadpool #58. Now, I'll be honest, I wanted to read this because Deadpool's in a tutu on the cover. And it said, Deadpool versus Black Swan, no, the supervillain. And I was like, oh, I thought we were going to actually be against Black Swan. But anyways.
I've always wanted to see Deadpool punch Natalie Portman in the face.
Right? Anyways, So in this one, thanks to a so a little bit of catching you up on Deadpool in case you haven't been reading. Thanks to a one-of-a-kind serum based on Wade's DNA, Deadpool now has his rugged good looks back, so he's not all like scarred and all that stuff.
Okay.
He's got his hair, and he's all good looking, and now he doesn't want to wear his mask anymore because he's so awesomely hot. But this has come with a little bit of a drawback. Being that he's lost his healing factor. So now he can be hurt. Right? So things are a little bit different. And what would happen if a supervillain with a big grudge against you found out that your healing factor was gone?
They'd come after you.
Oh yeah, bad times. Bad times.
Yep.
So now Black Box is out to kill and is letting a lot of baddies in on Wade's little secret. So this book is hilarious. I mean, Deadpool is always hilarious. It starts with him like sitting on the can and like a bad guy pointing a gun at him while he's on the can, and he's like, "You're gonna let me flush first, right?" Like that's just Deadpool. It's just the way it is.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like if you enjoy like a really crazy hero who breaks the fourth wall all the time. Talking directly to the reader and just being, crazy, cool, and funny. This is definitely the book for you. It's definitely an easy read. Like, this is not one of those, making a social commentary kind of superheroes at all. It's just a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed this one. So, take it for what it's worth. Just a fun, make your day brighter read.
Alright, and last and certainly not least for the reviews this week is Victorian Secrets, Girls of Steampunk Summer. And this one, it includes stories by Fred Perry, Rod Espinoza, David Hutchison, and Chris Allen. And basically it's more steampunk goodness.
Yeah.
But a lot of the stories in this one seemed very rushed.
Okay.
Except for Rod's, which is absolutely gorgeous as always. But Dave and Fred's stories seem very rushed and just like they did it probably on a weekend, but they're still fun.
Yeah.
Fred's is a Star Wars parody with steampunk, which is cute. Rod's story is another great adventure story featuring a lot of women, but the women are, of course, their own women and very fun to follow. Which I've always liked about Rod. He makes his women strong characters and everything. I love that about Rod's stuff. David Hutchison's story is pretty darn funny, done in his old school manga style. And Chris Allen's story is a bit off the wall, but it's not bad. So basically, if you're a fan of steampunk stuff, you're probably going to enjoy this, and it's in full color.
Oh, nice.
So there is that as well. So yeah, if you're a steampunk fan, check this one out. It's a lot of fun. Just be warned that some of the stories seem a bit rushed. Alright, so spoiler alert,
Yeah.
spoiler alert. If you don't want to know what happens in The Dark Knight Rises, turn off the show now.
See you,
You
next
have been
week
warned.
if that's the case.
See you next week if that's the case. Alright, you have been warned. If you're still here, great. If you're not, we'll see you later. But let's get to our review of The Dark Knight Rises.
Okay.
So,
I didn't like it.
I didn't like it either.
Yeah, I thought it was the worst one of the Christopher Nolan trilogy.
I will agree, it is the worst film in the Christopher Nolan series.
Not the worst superhero movie ever.
Oh, hell no. It's a competent film, it's just not very good.
No, I had problems with it like right from the beginning. Okay,
Yep.
so here we'll just start with the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
So Batman is apparently, he's the villain now, right? So he's in hiding. But to me, that didn't make sense that also Bruce Wayne would go into hiding for 8 years, moping over the death of his not even girlfriend.
Yeah.
And childhood friend.
Yeah.
First of all, okay, maybe you'd be upset, and yeah, I understand that Batman can't be on the streets, but you can't just disappear. You might as well put a big sign on your mansion that says, hey, Bruce Wayne is Batman.
Yeah. And how did he break his leg? I mean...
Well, I guess they're asking you to go with, like, his body has broken down after however many years of Batman, and I can't even assume that he was that long. I mean, we fought, like, 2 villains, right?
Yeah.
Like, or 3, whatever.
Technically 3, but yeah.
You know, and so, but now his body is so broken down that he's, you know, hobbling around the house.
Yeah.
So I didn't really like that either.
No.
If you were going to have a long, like, he was out of the public eye for a long time, if you wanted me to buy that Bruce Wayne would disappear for a while and let his family fortune go to pot and other people run his company and all that stuff,
that's
right?
kind of
After he fought so hard to get that company back in the first movie, if you wanted me to buy that, why didn't Bane break his back at the beginning?
Yeah.
That's when it should have happened.
Yep.
Not later in the movie where apparently you can recover from a broken back in a prison in a hole in less than 5 months.
Yeah. By someone punching you in the frickin' back.
And then just hanging you from a rope and say, hang there until you can stand. What?
The logic in this film.
Yeah, so I didn't like that. I think that sends a bad message about Batman and about Bruce Wayne that he would just give up. Batman would never just give up.
Nope.
Also, we had a problem with Alfred leaving.
Alfred would never leave.
Alfred would never leave Batman. He's the only one that, like, believes in him no matter what and is always there for him. So you don't, like, intentionally try to break his heart by saying, Rachel wasn't going to choose you, and then leaving. You just don't. I had a problem with that, too.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot.
What were your other big ones? I could keep going, people.
Okay.
But let Jim get in something. Bane.
Bane's voice?
Yeah.
90% of it I understood. The other 10%, not so much.
Yeah.
There were points where it was incomprehensible.
Yeah, it's just like, what did he say?
But then again, there was also the point in the film where, guess what? Everyone has found out who Bruce Wayne really is.
Yeah, pretty much everybody does.
And why is Batman still using his "I'm Batman" voice when everyone's going, "Hey, Bruce"?
Yeah,
it's like, it's like, "Oh no, I'm still Batman." And he's like, "Why are you still using the voice?"
Yeah.
My other problem with the film is the fights had no weight.
Not really, no. The big Bane fight in the middle where he actually gets his back broken was really, like, not... It was anticlimactic almost.
Yeah! In fact, the last fight with Bane was also anticlimactic.
Yeah.
Really nothing happened.
Yeah.
And that was what really ticked me off about the film.
Yeah.
Is that it didn't feel like there was anything to risk, to lose in the fight.
No.
It just looked fake.
And I think instead of making, because they messed up Bane again, why can't we just do Bane like he is in the comic books? So we're going to take the venom away, right?
Yeah.
So instead of like having Bane be super strong because
Not
of
to
venom,
mention a criminal freaking mastermind.
You know, like, well, he was that. I mean, he figured out where all the secret weapons were and tunneled underneath and, you know, okay, so I'll give him, he's super smart.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, well,
but they took away the venom, so then rather than have Bane be, like, super strong and that's why he beats Batman or whatever, they made Batman really frail.
Yeah.
And he was fighting like he was an old man. And I was just like, I don't think I'm cool with that at all. So, I don't know. It was a lot of problems for me. And then, like, the one time that we see Bruce be really, truly intimate with a woman on screen, he does it with a woman that, like...
He met, like, 5 seconds ago.
It seems like he barely knows, and then ends up with a different woman at the end of the film, and you wasted the Talia character to me.
Yeah. There were a lot of wastes of characters in this film.
Yeah, and just poor decisions. Like, I thought... I'm a huge Batman fan, and I just, like I said, it really bothered me that they would portray Bruce as someone who would just give up.
Yeah.
And Alfred as someone who would just leave.
Yeah.
I just didn't... Even if it was to save him,
all right.
blah, blah.
Another problem was the Joseph Gordon-Levitt character here.
Yeah, who is apparently a super detective.
Yeah, apparently he's the real detective in this series.
Yes,
because
Bruce is not.
He knew who Bruce Wayne was from the very beginning of the film.
Yeah.
So, major problem there.
Just from a look that he got.
Yeah, at the orphanage when he was a kid.
Yeah,
I'm like, that's BS.
Yeah, pretty bad.
It was...
And then to even claim that character might be Robin is horrible.
Oh god, that ending was
horrible. Now, first of all, if you're going to claim that people should go out and read like No Man's Land and Nightfall and stuff like that, then that character should have been Azrael.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody who's read those books is going to be, that's what they're expecting. And if you're going to hint that it's Robin, then you've totally screwed up Robin's origin too, and I shake my fist at you more. So, yeah, we have a lot, the music was distracting. Yeah, it was a little too loud. I thought I lost some of my
Not that
hearing.
it was bad. Howard Shore's orchestral score was
too
beautiful.
loud.
But it really distracted from a lot of the scenes.
I think they tried to use the music to make moments that should have been tense.
Yeah.
Tense, but they weren't still.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. It was just louder, you know. There were some performances that were great. Like, notice we haven't talked about Anne Hathaway.
Yeah.
Probably because, you know, she was fine.
She was okay. It's much better than Halle Berry.
But, you know, it just, I didn't really see a point for her to be there, really. Just for you to have the final moment at the end of the film where Bruce gives up being Batman and runs away with a woman who he didn't sleep with in the film and apparently had more feelings for someone else.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
I don't know.
I don't know. There were a lot of problems, but alright. So we more or less discussed what we didn't like about the film.
Yeah.
What did we like?
I loved Joseph Gordon-Levitt's
Joseph
performance.
Gordon-Levitt is fantastic as always. One of these days he's going to get an Oscar. Probably not for this, but
no,
he will
shouldn't
get
be
one.
For this, but
he will get one eventually.
Yes.
He should have got one for Inception, but
Yeah. I thought, or that one, the cancer one.
Oh, yeah.
That one. You know the one,
yeah, I
right?
know the one. Yeah.
Anyways, I actually did think that Christian Bale did give a fairly good performance with what he was given.
Yeah.
You know, some of the choices I didn't really like, but those were writers' choices, I think. You know, what else? Commissioner Gordon.
Oh, fantastic as always.
Still good.
But really kind of underused.
Yeah, but that's okay.
But I mean, it's okay. I mean, he does at least get the reveal at the end.
Yes.
So
there's that. Was it Miriam Colliard or?
I think it was Miriam Colliard as Talia. Yeah.
She was excellent. I mean, she did a great job.
/ other character name.
Yes. Yes. She did a great job. I mean, I really like her.
And of course, Rachel Gould shows up again.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
Raish.
Yes.
Raish.
Yes.
Not Raz.
Yeah. Anyway, so, yeah, Liam Neeson makes a little bit of a cameo in the film, and I actually got very excited for a minute, because I was like, oh, Lazarus Pit?
No.
He's back?
Dream sequence.
No.
Denied.
Denied. So, you know.
So disappointing.
I think that I'm just disappointed because I thought, like, we had heard, or at least I had read a lot of fan stuff and that was coming out early, and I thought the movie literally started like 10 minutes after the last film, and that Batman was going to ride around the corner and Bane was going to break his back, and that's why he was out of commission for a while. And
you know what though, this film really kind of neglects the second film.
I know, ignores
you
it. Like,
really kind of don't need to see the second film to see this film.
No, exactly. And I understand.
That's kind of disappointing.
Like, when all the villains get broken out of prison, I sort of understand your hesitancy to not show Joker walking out of the prison, okay? But you could have shown anybody dressed up from the back walking out of the prison, so at least that you acknowledge that Joker was locked up, and then he escaped with everybody else, and perhaps he played no further role in the movie. But I just thought it was curious that you decided to just ignore him completely. And when Scarecrow came back, I was really hoping they put the mask on him.
Yeah.
Not that Cillian Murphy did a great job in his
he's
little
always
part,
been great. But I mean, really, again, it's just like, why aren't you bringing the character back?
Yeah, as the character.
He's just sitting there. I mean, there's some good stuff in this film.
Yes. I just wish that it was written in a different order. It was all different.
And yes, we will say, go see the film.
Yes.
Go see it. I mean, it's okay. I mean, it's not great, but
yeah.
If you're a big, gigantic Batman fan, you're going to have problems with it.
Yeah, if you're invested in sort of the mythos of the character, it might be a little disappointing for you. If you're a fan just of these movies, and that's your understanding of Batman, perhaps you're going to like this film. Perhaps you'll see nothing wrong with it, and you're going to be like, Jim and Leila, you are crazy. And
we're probably going to be called crazy, but you know what? That's okay.
Yeah.
This is our review, and this is just our thoughts. But honestly, we didn't really like it, and out of 5 stars, I'd probably give it 2.
Yeah, 2.5 maybe.
Yeah.
But you know, that's just me. I really loved the first movie. I watched it again before I
My
watched this
favorite film
movie.
is still Batman Begins.
Yeah, I think of the trilogy, it's the best one, and I know a lot of people will say the second one.
A lot of people will say the second one, but I really didn't.
Take Heath Ledger's performance out of that, and Heath passing away, and maybe that's a different movie.
Yeah, it's
for
a
you.
completely different film.
So.
But honestly, go see the film, but we just can't recommend it highly.
But we'll look forward to hearing from you and what you thought.
So, we'll see you next week. Have a good one.